Hey, OCEA cousins, it is time for the Friday update, and it is September 25th, and it looks like it's about 4:30. I'm actually in another meeting, but it looks like there's a little lull in the action, so I'm going to try to squeeze this in for you. I know Dr. Pace sent out a second email about bargaining, specifically talking about salaries, and although I don't really like doing this, I feel obligated to respond because there are at least two sides to every story, and a lot of times there are three sides to the story, where the two opposites and somewhere in between is what actually happened, two different perspectives. What she says about states' allocations for salaries is true in regards to who's eligible for the allocations up towards, well, excuse me, it's designed to raise salaries up to $47,500, move them towards $47,500. The difference is the way we interpret how those funds should be distributed. SDOC says that we're actually breaking the law if we don't do it their way. That's not true. That's not true. It even says in the bill that it is negotiable. It is bargainable. I don't even know if that's a word, but we have the right to bargain how that money is distributed, and that's what we're doing. A lot of times, when you have labor and management, there's a conflict of interest there. They butt heads because labor unions get in the way of what management would like to do. They like to do whatever they feel like doing. But when we come together in a union, we have the right to bargain our working conditions. Thank God that is still a right in this country. I could go off on a tangent about how more and more states are becoming right to work states and they're trying to get rid of that language, but I'll try to get back on course. Like I said, Dr. Pace and SDLC have objectives that often conflict with what we want. They repeatedly, intentionally use the imbalance of power they inherently have to get whatever goals they want. So, in my opinion, this is me speaking, the point of the emails is not just to inform. I think it is designed to get us fighting amongst ourselves, not trusting each other, not looking for the common good. And if that happens, then they've achieved their objective, which is to clear us out of the way so they can do whatever they feel like doing when they want to do it. So, let me just stop there. And personally, I don't have anything personally against them or the school board members. They're doing their job, which is to, I guess, pay us just enough so we won't quit. And I feel like we're doing our job, which is to get the most we can for our people. And it's not just about the money. It is not, it's not just about the money. It's about the working conditions. You yourself know people that will drive past places they could work to get to this one place because they're treated well at that one place. And they may not be paid as much at that one place, but they're happy and they feel secure. So I wanted to get that out of the way. So here's what SDOC says. They want those of you who make less than $46,100 in their proposal to be upset, fired up, incensed with us, the guys who are trying to do the best we can do for you. They want to disregard the fact there are teachers who make $46,100 and above will only be getting a $650 raise. That's about $27 per paycheck before taxes. In a year, like a normal year when they wouldn't have this special allocation from the state, how much money from this general fund would the school board put towards raises? I would like to hope it's more than about 200,000 if we did the numbers right. That's all they're taking out of SDLC money to present as raises. Meanwhile, year over year, I've got some notes here. The fund balance has grown from 18 million in 2004 to a projected, that's not our projection, that's their projection, to a projection of 83 million. From 1.8 to 8.3. The state requires us to keep a balance of 3%. The district has its own policy. They want to keep 6%. 83 million would be about 10 million, 9 or 10%. So about 3 times what is required of them. You know, maybe if we'd been getting better raises throughout the years, there wouldn't be such a big gap from where we are to the 47.5. That's just speculation. Year after year, actually in the years that SDOC has been willing to talk about raises, their argument for a quick settlement has been, we want to get the money into the hands of our employees as quickly as possible. We do too. We do too. We want to have a conversation. We want to come to some agreement. Thank goodness we have negotiated contract language that demands that raises be paid retroactively from the beginning of the year. So you will get your money. Whatever it is, you're going to get your money, whatever your raise is. So don't let that, frighten you at all. Let me show you this or I'm not going to show it to you. I'm going to talk about it as soon as I find it. Oh, so I just want you all to know that I understand how frustrated you are, because I'm frustrated too. My team is frustrated. We've gone to meetings for months throughout the summer. We were in meetings negotiating salary and reopening and all of that. So we're frustrated with how little they've moved. And OCEA has been accused of being too political. But in my opinion, I wouldn't say bargaining for a fair and equitable distribution of monies and contract language designed to help and protect our staff is being political. We've already talked about the division. Let's see. We are here to fight against the division. Our strength is our numbers and being on one accord. So, and they know that if we come together and we're all moving in the same direction, there's nothing we can't do. There's nothing we can't do. So let me give you a quick recap of the months of instructional contract negotiations. Salaries, we suggested banding to be, more equitable. We asked for the non-classroom teachers to be included in a $1,000 increase for everybody, every instructional person. That was shot down by their chief negotiator, John Boyd. Personally, I got nothing against him, but he'd go through these long litanies of how there's no money, the state is going to cut the budget, millage is down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. More than one occasion, he talked for quite a while before we got a chance to go ahead and give our side of the story. That's one of the reasons you need to look in on the bargaining process just to see how it's going. Anyway, we countered back that there's money in this fund balance, and I've already mentioned it. About 9.5%. The state only requires 3%. SDOC like 6%. We suggested, hey, use some of that money to, get some extra funds in there so we can take care of our employees. So SDOC comes back and says that their lawyer interprets that we cannot do banding. Banding is where you have like groups of people. We wanted to move everybody below 45 up to 45. those below 46 up to 46, and those below 47 up to 47. But they say that we can't do that. There's no money anyway, and they didn't change anything. We came back again and we asked that all staff classified as teachers, instructional staff, get the HB 641 money. We still asked for a $1,000 minimum and suggested a one-time longevity supplement, just like we received last year, I think it was. And as you gathered from Dr. Pace's email, they counter-proposal with $650. So they're going to offer the people not included in the first part of HB 641 instead of last time their offer was $900. We wanted $1,000. This time they come back with $650. And anyway, I'll leave it right there. As far as COVID goes and reopening, they requested the extra day of paid voluntary training in response to this pandemic, right? So we agreed. We're trying to make sure everybody knows what's going on, what's the plan, and we're trying to be as safe as possible. All of a sudden, we get back to school, we get a back to school plan, and there's nobody bargained for it. It changed our school calendar. We lost 4 work days for grades and 3 extra days at the end of the year. There's a story behind that I'll tell you later. We gave them a counter MOU on the back to school plan that addressed every contingency that SDOC had not anticipated. And that's not a knock against SDOC. This is brand new, and I think it's a good thing to bring other perspectives into the room, because there might be something you thought about that I had no freaking idea what was going on, or hadn't planned it out. Different people think differently. Great. The goal is to move us all forward together in the smartest, safest possible way. Anyway, so they countered back with what's like a crosswalk. For every point that we made, they showed, this is, and their explanation was, it's a management right. Our working environment, which is the students' learning environment, is something we have the right to negotiate. It's not just we're the management and this is how it's going to be. So they refused to go item by item. I forget how many we had, like 40 or so items. We wanted to talk about these things that you out in the field have thought of, have experienced, that was not anticipated in their plan. But anyway, they refused to go item by item. And we're now at the point where we're requesting to be notified of any positive cases at our school. We actually went round and round with that. We have we want a clearer picture of their flow chart. So if A happens, we go to this decision, and if that happens, we go to this decision, because sometimes that gets muddled. It seems you've experienced cases where it doesn't seem like they're following the flow chart at all. We've also requested additional money for the simultaneous teachers, which pay for the purely digital teachers, and we want to balance the numbers out. You have face-to-face and you have digital classes. Some teachers have about 200 students that they're supposed to be educating. That's a lot more than they would normally have. So we're trying to compensate them that way. They imposed everything since early summer. The only thing we've actually agreed to, and I think we haven't tentatively agreed to it yet, we haven't signed off on it, initialed off on it, is the Green Champion supplement. So that gives you an idea of what's going on. It seems like they've stalled. They've gone off on lengthy speeches as to why we can't get more funds. And an observer might think that it's a huge waste of time for us to sit in there week after week with no visible progress. But I think you should see what we're doing and how we are trying to bring your voice into the room and your expertise, things you've experienced, what is working, what's not working, so that we can do what's best for Osceola County. So I guess I've run my mouth about enough. One more thing, I really hesitate to do this publicly, but I feel like it's the quickest way to get to the most people. I don't have access to everyone's district email, and even if I did, I wouldn't want to send this to your district email. But if you have a personal email, hey, call the office and we'll add you to our list, and we'll try to keep you updated as best we can. I think the last thing I need to mention is, I was talking to somebody earlier today. The only dog I have in this fight is I want to do what's fair and best for the group. That is it. So with that, last thing, we have an association rep meeting Monday. I'm not sure of the time. I'll also post later what's going on for next week. I haven't done that yet, and I think that's about it. If we disagree, we disagree. That's great. I'm trying to do what's best for the people, but the reason I hate to do this publicly is because I don't think it does us any good for us to disagree in public. It's sort of, I just got a crazy thought. It's sort of like mom and dad. Mom and dad should never argue in front of the kids. Never. Not that I'm your mom or dad, but, family should never argue out in public. You hash all that stuff out in the house, and then y'all come to some sort of agreement, and then when you leave the house, everybody's on one accord. So that's why I would really love for y'all to move more towards our secure website. We know it's just members, so we can get down to it. And when we come out, hey, we come out as one. So that's it. Hope you have a great day. Oh, did you see my shirt? Voting. Hope you got that. You have a great day, and God bless. Keep working miracles.